Welcome to the Gen Z podcast. I'm your host, Amar Johnson, and today, got here with me my boy, Isaiah Stalbird. How you doing?
What's good? Chilling. Just got done with class.
Feel you. Kind of tell the people where you from.
I don't know. Pretty much like grew up in Nebraska most of my life. Like moved around a lot. Basically Midwest kid. Like I was born in Chicago, but we didn't stay there long. Had like little stint in Minneapolis, like a couple other small towns in Nebraska.
How long was you in Minnesota?
Shit, I want to say like a little bit of kindergarten, and then we probably moved to Nebraska like second half of kindergarten. I've been there since.
You mess with it? Which one you like better? Or do you like? Do you remember Minnesota for real? Or like?
No, I do. Like it's crazy. Like just thinking back, how much you can remember as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going to school. Like we went to some little rundown school and shit. Like it was crazy because at that time, like I was with my mom, and then we was living with my brother's dad. Like ended up in a homeless shelter and shit. Yeah. So we was going through all that crazy time.
I feel you. So how you like Nebraska though? You like Nebraska better or? Because when I be driving through Nebraska, it'd be like,
yeah, there ain't shit.
Yeah.
It's just like here.
Yeah, it's pretty much about the same. Y'all just got like Lincoln, the city and stuff like that.
Yeah, Lincoln and Omaha, that's really like where everyone go. I guess like I was in Kearney, which is like 35,000, 40,000, so it was bigger.
Yeah. Like
a lot of like the smaller towns, central Nebraska, like Kearney was a place to come get like groceries and shit and all that.
So, did you go to like a big high school?
I mean, it was like Class A, which is the biggest division like for high school in Nebraska, but it was like one of the smaller Class A's. So
y'all like went to state or any of that?
Shit, we shoulda. We fluked my senior year. We made it to state championship and we lost, but I mean it was a cool experience because you got to play in UNL, beating that stadium. So
yeah. So I don't know if a lot of people know, but I mean you told me. So for y'all that don't know, my boy did first go to University of Nebraska before he transferred over here. It's like, how was that? Like, was it a big change, big difference from University of Nebraska, especially with it being Power 5 FBS, like, just coming here, like?
Yeah, no, that shit was a big change. Just like schools having resources and money and everything. Like, they don't got the same as far as like when you're an athlete. Like, they give you a computer, like you got tutoring, like the nutrition.
At Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like all that. So then when I came here, like, I had to scramble to go get my own computer, like, in between housing, too, like, I was paying for 2 rents at the time. Like, it sucked. So.
I feel you. So, would you feel like that's probably, like, one of the biggest, like, things that, like, FCS is missing, like, the smaller schools, probably, like, being able to have more resources and stuff like that versus the FBS school?
Yeah, for sure. That, like, it makes a difference, like, when you go to nutrition, like, I think being a walk-on, we had to pay for like 1 meal, and then they paid for everything else. Like you was eating 3
1 meal.
Yeah, you was eating 3 meals a day, and then on top of that, they had like this little like nutrition station where you could just go in any time of day and go get like snacks and like protein and stuff. Yeah. So it definitely makes a difference. And then coming here, it's like you got to try and cook for yourself pretty much.
Right.
And like y'all, where you got what's that, like the C-store and stuff?
Yeah, C-store, and then you got Larson, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I feel you. And Larson's food, not even.
I mean, like, shit, we still went ate there, like, the players, too. Like, even if we was hungry, like, I think, because our dorms, shit, that was probably, like, it was across the campus from, like, I forgot what it's called, where everyone ate, all the athletes. So. Yeah. Sometimes we didn't feel like that. We just go right over across the street to that.
Yeah. I feel you. Do you feel like with it being, you kind of have to like figure things out for yourself versus like at an FBS school, everything's like given to you. It comes with like pros and cons with that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the pro with it is like you probably is gonna build muscle and like get all your weight way easier.
Yeah, like I don't look the same like when I was there compared to now. Yeah. It was like something I struggle with too, because I'm like, damn, like I be looking at pictures and shit, and I'm like, damn, I do not look like that. Like I want to get back to that level, and like obviously now we're trying to do that with the new strength coach and all that. And like I'm already seeing differences too, like being more sore and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's true. Because especially there, you getting 3 like you. I mean, you probably got more time schedule. You know, you getting food. Food was probably much better.
yeah,
And then especially with like nowadays kids, you know, people coming in on preferred walk-ons and stuff like that. They still gotta pay for school, but then pay for their own meals and all of that. And then you only get a certain amount of flex, so it's like
you got to make that shit
right.
stress.
You get Chick-fil-A, Panda, like you necessarily can't eat that every single day.
Yeah.
And then especially if you want some like good protein, you know, you gotta go to the store and buy it. Versus like how you say in Nebraska, y'all
Like
had
it was
y'all
just
3.
there for
yeah,
you know, like
already.
that was something expected. Like you don't have to worry about none of that.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you that, especially just going on different visits when I was in high school, like to the FBS school.
Yeah, you see the difference.
Yeah,
too.
like it definitely was more like way more structured and stuff like that.
It's like they be scrambling, like trying to figure out our schedule day to day. It's like there, we would have our stuff probably planned out for like a month in advance, weeks.
Got you.
So, and I mean, if something changes, it's just like boom, they just do it on the schedule.
Yeah,
it was straight. So yeah, it's definitely like more structure, organization within the coaches too. Because I feel like here at times they be like scrambling to figure out stuff.
Yeah, I feel
it's like
okay. So speaking of coaches, for you, since you've had 2 different completely type, well, not completely different coaches, but like you've had
they completely different coach.
Completely, okay. So since you what's it called, was at Nebraska, and you had your Nebraska coaches, and you come here, and did you start safety first year and then get moved to linebacker, or did they automatically just move you linebacker?
I mean, yeah, I started like first 2 games and then like
safety. Okay, so then you had what was Berge your coach at first? Yeah, so you had Berge, and then you went to Rogers. So like, out of all them coaches that you had encounters with, do you feel like the coaches are really like for the kids or young men, for example, or like you think they kind of do it for the money? Because on Twitter there's a whole bunch of debates talking about coaches are just leaving colleges too just for money. Like, what's the problem with kids going to transfer portal? Which
I mean,
I think is a good debate.
Yeah, it's a lot of give and take both ways. Because obviously, like, I mean, in Nebraska, like Coach Fish, like that boy was a dog. He was cool though. Like I learned so much from him. You know, like his story and everything. Like coming from the projects in Florida, playing at UCF, and then, you know, he was in the league for 9 years. Like, he like got us straight out the mud. Like, it's crazy. So for him, like, it meant a lot more. But at the same time, like, you know, the type of money like he came up on, you know, he wants to keep that. So like, we had to perform. So like, he looks good. And, like, he was a good coach regardless. So even if we weren't to perform, like, people try and bash him and stuff, like, he'll be straight regardless. But I don't know. It's really tough to talk about because I feel like at the end of the day, unless you're, like, really close with your coach like that, like, no one truly know, you know.
Yeah, whether it's for I feel like you can kind of tell in certain scenarios. You can kind of tell because
there's coaches where they just come in here like do their thing. Like,
they do their thing for the kids and the people playing, and then, you know, some coaches turn down that big offer to be with, even if it's a certain class or something. Like, they might turn down. Like, I've heard scenarios about Eck turning down some pretty big ones because he wanted to stay here, and, you know, which I think.
And I think part of that too is like some coaches, like, even though they got the opportunity, like, they probably want to build their resume more too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. Like you said, it's kind of hard to tell whether coaches really, because they do a really good job at, like, telling you what you want to hear, especially with, like, recruitment process.
Oh,
man.
The
so,
recruitment, like, it's all sweet, boy.
Yeah,
and then when you get here, it's like a whole different world, you know.
Like, I feel like they can do a really good job at masking that, even if it's like we said, if it's really caring for the kids. But I feel like you got some of your genuine coaches that really feel like that or really care for the people.
Yeah, that's how I felt like our assistant DB coach in Nebraska, Coach Coop. Like I was probably closer to him than I was Coach Fish, but I feel like it was crazy, like being a walk-on. He like saw my potential and kind of like he didn't do everything for me, but like I was in there going in extra, building that relationship with him, like just diving into the film.
Right.
And trying to learn the game more, because you think when you're in high school, like you know a little something about football. And then when you get to college, you like I didn't know anything.
Right.
Like I got thrown into the fire. Like 2 months of being on campus as a walk-on, the fall camp, which is like big, especially being a freshman, because you got walk-ons in the same room that have been there for like 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah,
sometimes
I
they don't
realized
even
how
make
big fall camp was.
Yeah.
Well, even when I came in, like that's. And we had a late fall camp because we went into school basically still low-key on fall camp schedule.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was fall camp and boom, Colorado State. And it was like, dang, like, it was just that quick. And then, like, especially, like, for incoming freshmen.
It's a crazy transition, too, because, like a lot of us, we not from around here, too, so, like, trying to figure out the whole scene up here, like, trying to, I guess, like, find some new friends, or like even up here, just really like being around other black people, like trying to make it feel like a family. Because I mean, really, like the athletes, like the black athletes, like we only up here because of school. They don't really have too much black people up here. Like you got people like Angel. You know, like,
too much other people. Just that's non-athletic. Like,
I feel like it's weird though, because I mean, growing up in Nebraska, I feel like.
Was it
a handful of the black kids I knew, like we was damn near all adopted, or like
okay.
If their family moved here, it's like for a job opportunity, but it's not like.
I have run into a lot more up here than like I've like really ever encountered, especially with them being like, I'm adopted or something like that.
Like I think that's definitely probably like a more Midwest thing until you go to like Omaha, Lincoln, Kansas City, like Minnesota, and it's like outside of that, it's like you really ain't got too much black people. So.
Yeah, I feel you. So obviously you transferred from Nebraska to South Dakota. You play safety. How was the transition to linebacker? Like, was you messing with it, or was like you kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of give and take. Like, obviously, that's why I left. Is to come play safety. I knew I could come and do it somewhere else, but I feel like at the end of the day, like it's what's best for the team, and like I feel like some people kind of get caught in that because they want to play a certain position, and it's hard to accept. Like when you get moved, but I feel like with what like the coaches have done with me here is good for me. They have me like multiple packages, so I saw
your ass don't ever come off the field.
Like I just get to like still showcase my talent in that sense, and like show them I'm still an athlete. So I mean, I guess like now that don't really matter to me, but I mean, would it still be nice to be able to play that? Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty much set up, to still showcase who I am as a player, and like whatever leads next, that's all on me. Like I got to put in the work and everything. So
I kind of feel like. Well, let me ask you this first. Like, do you have dreams like playing in the NFL and stuff like that?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I feel like if you play in Division I, like, that's obviously a dream. But I feel like it's all on you. And I mean, even for me, that's a long ways away. Like, I still got so much more work to put in. But at the end of the day, like, you got to be the biggest believer in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not gonna go anywhere.
Right.
You just gonna.
Man, but we had that talk on like the last two episodes talking about people believing in themselves. Yeah.
I feel like even being an athlete, like part of transition to coming to college is, you got like all these older guys and everything, and like it can be intimidating. So like just trying to like navigate your path, like not only as an athlete, but like in your life too, like all these new experiences and everything. Like it's honestly crazy. Like just the adjusting you have to do, because you dealing with that. And then you're dealing with trying to learn a new playbook and going to class and manage all your time and all this stuff. And, like, on top of that, I feel like a lot of people, like, we got stuff going on back home too. So like,
you gotta easily get overwhelmed with everything going on.
That's why I feel like I told you coming in here, like, doing the podcast, it's cool just to sit down and come talking about stuff, because I feel like we don't really do that or like prioritize like just getting stuff off your chest, or even like coming here having a conversation.
Yeah, I also feel like a lot of time athletes really don't get to voice what they really feel, because like we're so told like everybody's watching you, like no matter like the littlest thing that like, a regular student could do,
we can't
we really can't do that.
We would get scrutinized or like, oh, this don't look good on you.
Right, like how you said, it's a good time. It's a good to just have like a little podcast, talk about whatever for like that.
It's crazy because we couldn't even like 4 or 5 years ago, like you couldn't even do no podcast. Like, they really had people on the ropes. Like you couldn't do nothing.
You can make no money. Like YouTube, athletes was held to like a really strict standard, like what they could and couldn't do. Cause I forgot who it was, but they had like a whole issue because the coach had bought dude a sandwich. Yeah. I forgot what school that was, and like it was a big issue. I'm like, like just because he an athlete and play football, like what difference does that make him from anybody else? Like, dude can't get a sandwich from somebody. Can't buy a dude a sandwich.
That is crazy because like I mean, even times as an athlete, like whether you walk on a scholarship or not, like people still struggle. Like it don't matter if you're on a scholarship, because I know guys in Nebraska, and I like probably here, like you get scholarship money, like they send them home to help out their family,
right?
Because they struggling too. So like you trying to balance that out, and like people like, oh, you got everything set up for you, and like that ain't the case at all, you know? Like, like it's a lot of being a student athlete. It's a lot of sacrifice you got to make, and it's hard. But I feel like when you get the right people around you, you know, and your teammates, like, it don't matter if you're having a bad day and stuff. You know, you can come in here and, like, feel free, because just the people you got around you, and, you know, you get to come in here and work on your craft. And it's like you get a little break from the real world. But it's as soon as you get done, it's like, okay, we back to it. You know?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you've been talking to your girlfriend for a while.
Yeah.
Would you say, like, she helps you with that? Kind of like the real world situation, because you know you always 24/7 football. Like
just trying to, like, you saying take stuff off my plate or just like help me out. Yeah. No, she definitely, like, you probably seen the story, like Cooper Kupp and his wife, like
that's big right now.
Yeah,
I see that on every story.
I know, that's real. Like I feel like today's generation, like, it's trying to kind of hard to find something like that, because
like that,
because it's just like
more. I feel like becoming way more like independent and stuff. So like I feel like back then it would be easier for like, oh, like this is my dream, I want to go play football, like,
and like
come up here and like nowadays you got a lot of doubt, like people who's gonna doubt you.
Doubters,
so like they're like, no, why would I go up there and all this and that? Like it's harder to find somebody that, you know, who has believed in you, and then someone who's also been there for you from day one, because you always gonna have your family believe in you and all of that. So your family,
it's crazy. Like even sometimes your own family don't believe in you. So like, and that, like, I feel like that can mess people up too. It's like, damn, my own family don't believe. Yeah,
that's a big thing. Like some people just blessed with their family, really, like they really believe in them and like whatever they want to do. For example, like when I was getting recruited, I was a hard option for me, like Mizzou, South Dakota State, like Tulsa, like which one? And like my mama told me, like, go where, I don't really care where you go, like kind of go where you want to go.
And that's good though, because I feel like most
people stay close
parents,
to home. Like
it's that, or like their parents trying to have a say, like they don't really let us get too much freedom in the decision, because they're like, oh, this car's got this, but like you may not feel the most comfortable, even though they got all that stuff. Right.
Yeah. And I would have had to pay a little bit, even like going to like Tulsa for real. And, like, my mom was still like if that's where you want to go, that's where you want to go. Like, even if you got to pay a little bit, like, that's not a problem because I know what your dreams are. And I believe in
parents,
you.
so they really believe in, like, anyone believe in you, like, they gonna make that sacrifice for it, which is
and I feel like some parents do kind of hurt their kid when it comes to, like, the football wise or, like, football situation where, like, you got to stay close.
Yeah.
Like, these are schools
that's because you're a baby, you know.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like we got to be able to experience things on our own.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't matter, like, no matter how close you are to your parents and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't always live under their reign or their roof, like, their rules, you know. Like, how you ever going to learn anything if you don't go and experience something by yourself, you know?
Yep.
Because, like, I think as parents, like, you can only give us as much advice and information as you know and you've experienced. But at the end of the day, like, it's on us to take that advice.
Right.
And, like, subconsciously, we know with every choice, like, the consequences, the actions that come behind it, too.
Right.
So
you kind of have to, like, what you do, the consequences, like, take it as a learning lesson.
Yeah,
kind of
real.
Because I feel like that's
I mean, that's anything with life, though, you know. Like
that's
you always learn something, whether it's right or wrong. It's like, you know, it's what you decide to do from there.
Like, mistakes, like, I don't really get too mad at mistakes, like, in whatever I'm doing. Like, you know how people on the team, like, mess up a play.
Yeah.
For example, like, I messed up, they go back there and start cursing themselves out, like, this and that. And with me, I might mess up a play, and you'll see me walk off with a straight face.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's hard to do that. Like, you got to learn to do that because, like,
and then, like,
a lot
coaches
of
yelling
us,
at you and stuff, like
because a lot of us, like, we expect greatness from ourselves. So, like, when we mess up, it's like, oh, but I mean, in the day, nobody's perfect. Like, like I said, you got to learn whether you mess up or do it right. You know.
Yeah. Like, I always tell myself, like, other people, like, really yelling at me and stuff like that, like, it's not gonna affect me, like, too much like that, cause, like, growing up with my mama, when I would mess up, like, yelling at her, like, her words, like, meant way more. And so even when I was making mistakes, she would tell me, like, it's okay, like, fix it, like, just don't make the same mistake twice. So, like, even when I get in I might get in the game or practice up, mess something up, I already know I messed up. So it's like,
it's like you
really
gotta
yelling at me and stuff like that. It didn't really gonna change
nothing.
Like
me, I'm thinking, like, okay, next time I'm out there, like, I gotta come back and get this one.
Right, like, you gotta make up for it. Like, you get that. So, like, a lot of times, I feel like sometimes, like, all that, the yelling and all that, like, it really don't. For some people, it might change something, but for, like, some people who, like, really understand, like, the mistakes, like, I'm gonna get it back. Like, I'm cool. I'm okay. Like, just erase it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing I had to learn with, too. Like, I wasn't really used to that type of, like, coaching, but now it's like, it don't faze me. Like, I just brush it off. Like, if anything, when that happens, like, I think it just makes me more mad, where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show, like, I'm gonna go prove, like, I know how to do this, or, like, can do it. You
like,
know?
I know my shit. Like,
like, I just caught me slipping once type, but
I think it has a pros and cons to it. But it's like how you said the Cooper Cup thing, and, like, with his girlfriend, like, moving out there and stuff like that. So, like, you obviously been talking to you loyal man, talking to your girl for a while. How did that come upon? Like, how did y'all meet?
We really just got put on with, like, my teammate and his girlfriend. You know, I think it was a spring season after a game. And it was like, yo, she coming. Like, I know you don't really talk to no one. She don't really talk to no one either. Like, they said we was the same type of person and all that. And, like, from then we just kind of hit it off, talked for a while. I know it's crazy because, like, I feel like God put people in your life even if you don't expect it. Because I, for real, like, I was cool with being single, like, chilling. Like, I wasn't really looking for anything. Like, I was fine being on my own, like, focusing on school and football. Because I feel like, especially when you're younger, like, first coming to college, like, you want to mess around and all that. Like, it's cool, but, like, I feel like everybody get through that phase or whatever at a different point in their life, and I don't know.
Right.
But, yeah, we just hit it off since, and it's pretty much been wrapped since. Like, I don't know. That's like my best friend for real.
Yeah,
like,
your best friend.
Yeah.
Shit, that's good. You know, you ain't gotta really worry about all that outside noise. Like just you and her, best friend.
Yeah.
Be cooling and stuff like that. And y'all keep y'all relationship real low key. I was just talking to you about that. Like you don't really see y'all out.
Yeah,
You know
I mean that because like I got over like going out and all that. Like I'm cool with just chilling in the crib and like we do our thing. Like us like being weird and goofy by ourselves. I'm cool with that rather than like going out and having to deal with like something that happened when we go out. Whether it's like you not enjoying it or like you just end up having a bad night or whatever. So
yeah, I do feel like more relationships, especially in society or like society today and stuff like that, should low key be more low key because I feel like everybody be in everybody business. Yeah, especially like you don't even got.
Well, in it, I think part of that is too is like social media and like who we look up to.
Yeah,
like we think, oh, we gotta have a relationship like
you
Kardashians or like some famous couple, and that's not the case. Like that may be what's for them, but that ain't for everybody. And like for me, for real, I try not to get caught up like comparing to like celebrities and stuff, because like you're not there yet, and like everything you're working towards, like that comes at a different part in your life, whether that's you're young or like you may be older. Like it don't matter like when you may come up on your bread or like when you achieve something. Like for real, as long as you do it for yourself, that's all that matters. It don't matter, if someone did it like younger or whatever. Like
yeah, I feel like a lot of people get caught up in that. Like I think about it like the jackpot. Like they just want
like keeping up with the Joneses type, with the family all perfect. Like and that ain't the case. Like ain't no family perfect. Like ain't no person perfect. Like everybody in every family like all go through their own thing, no matter like what the perception may be on like social media and all that.
And a lot of time like people don't even realize like you only see what's on like social media and like all.
Like people only like allow people to see what you want to see.
Right. And usually that's just straight good things. Like nobody ever gonna post like the bad things. Like I mean sometimes like.
But I like when people do that too, cause like you showing the real you. Cause a lot of people not doing that these days, and like even when people do that, people are like, oh, they faking blah blah blah. Yeah. Like it's crazy that people be getting scrutinized for really keeping it real, like on their pages and stuff. Like people be think they're faking. No, it's just real life. Like ain't everything perfect. Like it ain't all like sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Gotta keep it a buck with people. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times, especially people, they try to. I feel like they be trying to like have their relationships be like too much like other people's relationship. Like
that's what I'm saying. They try to model up people like they be following or look up to. I mean, it's cool if you want to do that. Like that may be for you, but
a lot of times it don't work out.
I want to see. Hold on, we just like getting on the topic. My homeboy posted something on his Instagram story. I used to play with him at Nebraska, but like this one bros I kind of look up to.
While you getting that, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Stay tuned for all the newest podcasts coming up. Gonna have some pretty funny people on here, especially.
Damn, I can't even find this. Hold up.
Make sure y'all tune into them other episodes. Who we had? AD, Chris, Angel, Chris on there twice. Make sure y'all. And while we talking about this topic, AD video, we kind of hit on topics like these too.
Yeah.
So if y'all ain't check that out, make sure y'all go check that out too. And yeah, just stay tuned.
I mean, this is like he's talking about. I guess this is a sense of life in general. It's like 4 long things, but I kind of want to read it. He said, "That street shit ain't cool no more." He's like, kids dying, not even touching 18, young adults getting locked up for 10 plus years, fatherless children because you wanted to rep the hood, motherless because you want to become a drug kingpin. We have to change our mindsets with this shit. He's like, one of my friends died at a fraternity party a few years back, and his murder is yet to be solved. Reason why I don't really be around. Really don't be around because I was supposed to be there, and like survivor's guilt is what he said. It's like a childhood friend of mine died in November over a few grams of weed. He's like, trust me, man, I'm not perfect, but our youth is being impacted. I was impacted. You were probably impacted.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, you have time to change. And then he goes on to say, he says, like, people be having whole degrees and then go back to where they're from and flash a gun around like you think it's cool. You think that's a man now. You think that's bullshit. Like, you niggas weird. Like, it's okay to have a 9 to 5. It's okay to work on you. It's okay to disconnect from a toxic community.
Right.
And it's okay to be you. And, like, and that's real shit. Like, it's okay to be you because,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like we get caught up, like, comparing to all this, like,
Comparing to people and
yeah, like, you supposed to act a certain
right.
type of way. Like, if you white, black, and I'm like, just be you, you know?
Right.
And, like, everything around you going to fall into place. Like, you going to meet the right people. Like,
yeah, God gonna put people in your life, even if it's a temporary. Like, I feel like everybody has like even if it's the littlest meaning, like a meaning to like why they came into your life. Like, even if it's to help you to learn something from that or whatever it is, I feel like he puts them there for a reason. And kind of hit on that when he said like it's okay to work at 9 to 5. I feel like so many people bash on that nowadays. I work. Yeah, like at the end of the day, you still provide for yourself.
Like,
you still
people think
paid.
it's like goofy to work a 9 to 5. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, bro, like, for me, like, I feel like as long as you're doing good for yourself, it don't matter like how you viewed in society.
right.
And, like, as long as you know your worth too, like, it don't matter, bro. Like, these shoes and shit, like, these clothes, like, at the end of the day, that shit don't matter for real. Like, all anyone is ever gonna remember is like the impact you had on people, like who you were, how you treated people, and like who you were as a person. So, like,
Yeah, like all that materialistic.
yeah, and I'm not like it's cool and all, but I feel like once I got it, it's like, okay, cool.
I
like,
got it now. Like,
yeah, like it wasn't all hyped up what it's meant. Like, it's cool to have it, but and like by no means not perfect. Like, I'm not, like, everybody falls short and make mistakes. You know, for me, I just try to like be better than I was yesterday and like learn from my experience, because like I'm not the same person who I was like 2-3 years ago, like 6 months ago. Like, as long as you like constantly changing and evolving for the better yourself, like, cool, you know.
Yeah, a lot of.
But it's like going back on that. It's also hard to like break those cycles of like where people are from. You know, like being in the hood, being around violence, like drugs and all that, or like, you know, being around like toxic people, family members, like breaking that chain and like doing better for yourself. It's hard, you know, but I feel like we got to do better, even as like men, just sitting down talking about shit, being real. Like, it ain't soft to come and like vent to your homeboy about your feelings, because like that's how you really feel about something. Like, it ain't goofy because you feel that way, you know.
Yeah, I feel like, especially like that, you know, sitting down, especially for men.
Because we got the stigma. Yeah, we're supposed to be tough.
Like men not really supposed to. I mean, like, we have feelings, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, like show them.
Yeah, show them and stuff like that, because you feel like. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree, and then I just feel like a lot of people just care and stuff, like what the society thinks about them, and a whole lot. Like, I'm big on, like, for example, if I know, if I'm doing a situation, I know like what I'm doing it for. And you telling me, oh, you doing this for that, and I say no, and because I know what I'm doing for, like, I'm not really gonna care like what you think. If you agree with what I'm doing, if you don't agree with what I'm doing, if you, like, I'm just big on that, because for example, like, it's for me. Like, it don't got nothing to do with you. It ain't
for you. Yeah,
I'm doing this for me. Like, why would I care about what you think about it? Like,
because maybe you want to do a different way, or like you got a different reason for doing it, you know.
Like, at the end of the day, it don't impact you at all. It's gonna impact me. So that's kind of what I feel like a lot of people care too much, because I just had like this conversation with me and my homeboys, and we was talking about we was talking about how they was like, for example, so one of the girls that he was talking to was talking about how, I guess, like, she wanted to talk, but like he really didn't, and like if he like had talked to another girl or something, like she would get mad, and he was like, well, we don't, like, we not like dating or none of that, so like I can talk to whoever I want to talk to type stuff. And more so, she was like, is like disrespectful or something, but he's like, we not really dating or any of that.
Yeah,
so
like
at the end of the day, I'm gonna do me, and I'm literally telling you to go do you, but because you want me, you feel like I should have to be obligated to like kind of stick by your rules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we just kind of was having a debate about it, and I was kind of agreeing with him on there. On it, even though that's my best friend, like, I'm gonna tell him like what's right and wrong and stuff like that.
True, and like you should, like, if you're a real friend, you always gonna keep it real with your people too. Like, even if they gonna get mad about it, like, you know, they still gonna appreciate that at the end of the day, rather than something that, you know, that just gonna go along with what you say.
Right.
And like,
yeah, I feel like somebody who always gonna tell you you right, you just gonna you ain't never gonna really like develop or mature versus somebody that's gonna tell you like, oh no, you in the wrong.
And I mean that's true though. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know, like a talking phase. Like, you really is free to talk who you want to. Like, explore your options.
Right.
Like, and I feel like when it comes to that too, like, if you're not giving some, like, the energy you putting out ain't being reciprocated, or, you know, like, I feel like for males, like, it's frowned upon us for us to have standards. You know, I feel like it's always the females that got the standards, and like we got to meet them. But it's like when a male got a standard, it's like, oh, like he too stuck up, like XYZ. You know, like he needy. I'm like, no, it's like literally the same thing y'all doing. And like, and I feel like as a man too, it don't matter who you with, like what relationship. Whether, like, you know, it's going good or bad, like, at the end of the day, I mean, shit, me and Say talk about it, like, you got to know your self-worth and value at the end of the day, you know, no matter where you at in a relationship, because it's like, if you, say you sit down and have a conversation, you know, about, I don't know, something y'all, like, both doing wrong or something, and, like, you fix it, and the other person, like, don't change, you know, but you constantly, like, doing something for them.
Speaking of that, like, that's why I feel like I'm not so big on like sorry, like the word sorry. Yeah. Because I feel like
for me it's like
that's so easy to say, like, in a situation, like, if you know you wrong, like, if the mother like sorry, like, it's cool, but like the meaning of, I feel like people like don't really
just throw it out there. It don't
really
mean
get the concept of like what sorry means, because like if you was really sorry, like really means like, I know you don't mess with it, I messed up, for example, I'm not gonna do it again.
And sometimes when it comes to sorry, it's all about that pride, like, and I feel like, damn, I know that shit gonna be loud, but I feel like when it comes to anything, like, people just, like, you at the end of the day, like, sometimes you just got to put your pride down and learn, you know. I don't know,
like for example, I just feel like people be so quick to just, oh, I'm sorry, and then just be like, expect you to just be like, all right, like, you cool now and stuff like that. Like, I get, like, it's only gonna change, like,
if
only they can, they can really only change that, because I done already told you, like, I don't
and
really
like, I'm big on too, instead of like sitting here complaining, I'm big on like, let me know what I can do to be better, or like, let me know what I can do to change, so like this situation don't happen again.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I feel like
it's just sitting down and having that mature talk with them, for real.
It's like communication, like,
and a lot of people like
it's
that.
like, communication, boundaries, like, y'all just got to be vocal about it, because at the end of the day, if you like don't sit down and talk about it, it's just gonna lead in this constant cycle, like arguing or whatever y'all going through.
And I feel like adding to that, if y'all can do that, then I feel like a lot of times you can do a long distance relationship. Yeah. Like, if y'all know your boundaries, you trust the other person, y'all like sit down, have the mature conversations here and there. Like, I get that the like physical aspect might be like, you can't hug, like, like that always won't be there. But if y'all like really mess with each other, then that's
and like communication, just
the
simplest part of things too, you know. like if you can't communicate, then how do you expect something to work out?
Right. I was watching this one podcast, and like Shaq, Shaq a funny dude.
Fool.
He says like probably some like the realest shit I done heard. He was like, all my women, like, I don't let them pick me. Like, I pick my women. And I was like thinking about it, like low key, like when you kind of like pick what you want, like it's more so like you probably got a higher chance of it like working out because like you know what you want.
Instead
like,
of just like someone
somebody
coming into your life and be like, oh, okay, she likes me, like she does this what I like,
and you like,
and just accept it rather than you go and find a woman that like does this.
Yeah, like don't he basically saying without saying is like he doesn't settle for like the
mediocrity
of what people think. Like you always gonna like have the honeymoon stage, like
oh yeah,
like, that
sure.
first couple of months, bro. Like you always gonna.
You'll be touching up on each other. Y'all be telling you love you all the time, but then it's gonna be like when y'all get over that and y'all just be in the room chilling like,
all the time.
Can y'all be okay with that?
Yeah.
Like, and knowing y'all still love each other and care about each other and all that.
Right. And so when he said that stuff, I kind of thought about it. I was like, bro, like the girlfriends I've had and like talking the girls I've talked to, like I've always picked them. And for example, like for me, I was in a relationship for like 3 years, so like it worked out for me.
Yeah.
For a good amount of time, but sometimes you just grow apart. But like I said, I just feel like sometimes like if you don't settle, like you really know what you want, like eventually that girl will come around.
Yeah, true. And like I feel like on top of that too, like you said, 3 years like grown apart, like would it like that person would like y'all willing to change for each other if y'all really wanted to?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean that don't always work out for everyone too. Like, but no, I know what you're saying. And like choosing, I feel like, yeah, that's crazy. I feel like it's been like that some case, and I feel like people just like came into my life, and it's like, oh, I never had this before. Like they treat me well, and it's like,
yeah, like it's like you like that attention, and it's,
but you don't really get to like know them on
know
like,
that person like that
emotional level, like like deep down on like their past and stuff. Like y'all just do all the surface level stuff. Like y'all would go on a date, go chill, but is y'all really having deep talks and really like picking each other's brains and stuff?
Right. Yeah. A lot of people are not really ready for that conversation though.
For real.
Because everything's just nowadays supposed to be so.
Yeah, and I feel like us too, like people just mature at different ages in their life. So, I feel like you only a freshman, but I feel like you pretty mature just in here, like talking about everything.
Yeah.
Whereas like some of the people in your grade ain't gonna be as mature, So
yeah, I feel like a lot of people got it.
But
that goes to like I feel like that does go to like certain backgrounds and like
that's what I was about
like
to
how
say.
your parents raised you and all that. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I was blessed to be raised in a nice neighborhood, be supportive. Mom buy me Jordans, clothes,
and that's like something I ain't had. So like for me, like I had to go and experience and learn on myself, So like at times it was rough, like. Learning how to be loving and caring, like express my feelings, like admit when I'm wrong. Like it's hard to do that, but like I said, if you really want to change and like I feel like at the end of the day, before you get into any relationship too, and like all that stuff, like you truly gotta love yourself before you can go and love somebody else.
Yeah, that is facts.
Because I feel like in the past, like I didn't truly like love myself, so I'm like always questions like if I don't love myself, how can I take care of somebody else to like support all their needs and everything?
And I feel like one, if you don't even love yourself, you will always be seeking the attention for somebody else to love you.
Like
when you do that, that's when depression.
Like it sounds corny and stuff, but you see it on social media. But it's corny, but it's not, because you see stuff when it's like it's really powerful when you're okay to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And like until you went through that, you might think it's corny, but like being on the other side of that and like truly like figuring out who I am, like what I want to do, and all that stuff, like it is powerful, like to be by yourself and be self-sufficient, and like And when you take the time
Confidence.
to allow somebody else to come into your life, like you want to make sure, that they're the same way.
Yeah.
But y'all can still love on each other. You
Yep.
feel me? Like, and grow together. I feel like that's the biggest thing too. Is like relationships ain't finna be perfect. Y'all gonna go through shit. Like it's never gonna be like the celebrities, like TV shows and all that.
Yep.
And y'all gotta be willing to like make sacrifices for each other. Y'all gotta learn to like grow with each other, and like maybe some stuff that's happened in the past, like go back to the root of that, like what caused this.
Yep.
Figure like how you can fix it and move forward, like so that person can heal from their trauma, or like if that situation happened between you two, how you can move forward so it don't come up again.
All right. Yeah, I think that's a mature conversation right there. That sometimes you just gotta sit down and have with people, because you might be more mature than they are, and they might just not get it like that yet.
Yeah, and that's like draining for you.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you gotta be willing to like. I feel like a big part too is like sometimes y'all may have good like, I don't know, like physical chemistry and emotional chemistry, but if they not meeting all the needs, like that's kind of hard to let go sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, but at the end of the day, like that could be what's best for y'all, because like that allows for that person to grow.
And
you like we said, figure out who you are and all that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like you going through stuff, and then like that ending, like you really. I feel like after, like you can really find out like who you find out who you really are, find out like things you liked about it, things you didn't like about it, and like like if it was almost like a test kind of like you, and it'll help you in the long run.
Shit, I mean that even like what you just said relates like school football, like,
right? Yeah. Yeah, you got anything else you wanna say? Get off your chest.
Nah, man,
Man, I appreciate you on here though, for real.
Nah, I got
you. Hit me up in the weight room. He's like, hey, let me know.
For real. You thought I was playing. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, it don't matter to me. Like, it's cool to, like, see young dudes doing their thing. Like, trying to get something going. And like I said, even if it's not popping, this is going to be something for people to come in here and vent, or, like, if y'all just want something to do, come in here and chop it up. So.
Right. I'm always willing down to chop it up with somebody about whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, I really appreciate you coming on here. Make sure y'all go follow my dude. What's your IG?
Zay Deuce.
Yeah, make sure y'all. Yeah. I'll put the link in the description, all that. But another podcast we just had. Good topic, good discussion, all of that. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Stay safe this weekend. You already know with COVID and all that. I don't even need to say all that. Like I've been
don't get that shot. We gonna have to talk about that another time.
Hey, feel whatever y'all feel like what's best for y'all. Y'all do that. All right. But yeah, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the other episodes and new episodes coming up. If y'all haven't checked out the previous episodes, y'all make sure y'all do that. And that's all we got today. We out.